Hello, freshmen. This is Ms. Jones in the counseling office. We are excited to present to you today some important information about your freshman year. We'll get started today by taking a look at the counseling team. Now, students, it is possible as freshmen that you have not yet met your counselor. When we come to the middle schools and register, we just kind of grab whoever is available. So please don't worry. At some point this year, you are going to meet us. From this point forward, we will be the ones helping you every year choose your classes and do your registration. But we will also be the ones pulling you if you make an appointment for a question or a concern. So I wanted to put some pictures up here so that you could have a face with a name. And let's take a look at the counseling team. Mrs. Gates serves students' last names A through CO. Mrs. Ludecker, students' last names COO through HEN. Mrs. Van Armen, students' last names HEO through MEQ. Myself, Mrs. Jones, students' last names MER through R. And Mr. Raffo, students' last names S through Z. We also have an amazing career coach, Mr. Messerly, who works primarily with juniors and seniors, and Ms. Carson, who helps with student enrollment, and Mrs. White, who helps with student transcripts and grades in Skyward. We are your counseling team. We are here for you, and we are excited to get to know you over the next 4 years. What do school counselors do? We have master's degrees in school counseling and are trained to work with students based on the following 3 areas: academics, career and college planning, and social and emotional needs. Today, we are going to take a look at each of these 3 areas and how they might impact you this year as a freshman. We're going to start with academics. We have quite a few important things to take a look at regarding your academics and your academic success, especially as you embark on your first year of high school. If you are a student who has grown up here in Rutherford County, then you know that starting in 8th grade, we began looking at the required classes that you will take in order to graduate from high school. So for most of you, this list that I'm about to go over is not the first time that you've seen it, and it's certainly not going to be the last. We try to go over this list every time we present as counselors. So there are 23 credits that are required to graduate from high school. We're going to read through those, starting with English. English and math, both of those classes, you must have 4 credits. In science, you must have 3 credits. In social studies, also 3. For foreign language, you must have 2 credits, but they need to be in the same language. Wellness is 1 credit. PE is a half of a credit. Fine arts is 1 credit. Elective focus or pathway is 3 credits. And I want to touch on that briefly because most of you freshmen are sitting in several elective focus or pathway classes right now. So what we will ask you to do as sophomores next year is tell us if you're enjoying that pathway and want to continue it to get 3 credits in it, or if it's something where you would rather try another pathway as a sophomore and then go on to earn your 3 credits. Career pathways are the most common, but students can do a pathway in fine arts or humanities. We just simply need to pick something and focus in on it and earn 3 credits. All right, let's continue. Personal finance, you need a half of a credit and then 1 additional elective credit. If you were to add all of these numbers up right now, you would get 23. There are 23 credits that are required to graduate in the state of Tennessee. Now, in addition, I've also posted a couple of other things that you have to do in order to graduate. You must take all of your required end of course tests. So you are sitting in several classes right now as a freshman that will have an end of course test. That is required to graduate from high school. You will also take the ACT or SAT. Here at Smyrna High School, we give that your junior and senior year. You're going to complete and pass the United States Civics test. That will happen one day when you're taking your government class. You've got to complete and pass that test. And then finally, you have to take and pass a computer science class. Now, this is a new graduation requirement. It's starting with the current sophomores right now. So you guys as freshmen are the second group that's going to have to do this. But somewhere on your transcript, you must have taken and passed a full computer science credit. We can count that as a possible math or science. For some of you, it'll simply be your elective, but you must take and pass computer science. So equally important to understanding what classes do I need to take and pass to graduate from high school is understanding, how do I track my progress towards graduation? Well, the best way to track your progress towards graduation is going to be by using your transcript. Your transcript is your official high school academic record. Every time you are sitting in a class and you are earning a full semester grade, you are building a piece of that transcript. Now, interestingly, the transcript is a permanent record. It is something that you are going to need and use well after graduation. Transcripts are used for college acceptance, tech school acceptance, verification that you're eligible to go into the military, even sometimes just like proof that you've graduated high school. So your transcript is a permanent record that you will use and need after graduation. As freshmen, you don't have a transcript yet, but you are going to have one very soon. Once you have completed your first semester of high school, your transcript will populate. It will update every time grades are posted, which is going to happen 4 times this year. So right now, you cannot find a transcript, but in October, your transcript will populate and you will be able to find it in Skyward under the Portfolio tab. The transcript is how you will track your progress towards graduation. Let's talk about reading your transcript. The top right corner of your transcript lists your GPA and the total number of credits that you have earned. Now, your GPA in Rutherford County is out of a 4.0 scale. We do not use a weighted GPA in Rutherford County, so a 4.0 is the highest that you can go. The total credits earned will obviously change as you continue to earn more credits. Diploma type and graduation date will not be filled in until you're a senior. Now, directly below this, at the top right column, is where your personal information is listed, your address, your phone number, etc. Looking over to the left column, you should see the history of your classes that you have already taken and the grades that have posted for those classes. Now, we will post your updated transcript at the conclusion of every semester. And as a student, it is your responsibility to check that transcript and see if it is accurate. If you see an error or have any questions about your transcript, you should make an appointment to see your counselor so that we can look into it. So we have looked at the classes that you need to graduate from high school. And we've looked at the best way to track your progress towards graduation with your transcript, and we've looked at how to read a transcript. So there's one final piece that I want to mention to you, and that is the graduation checklist. Counselors keep a graduation checklist on each student, and we complete the checklist based on the grades and classes listed on your transcript. Every single time grades post, we update your checklist. You can find a copy of the graduation checklist online at the school website. You would click under counseling and choose course selection, and the graduation checklist is the first option on that page. So you can fill out a graduation checklist on yourself by printing this and then using your transcript in Skyward to fill in the classes that you have already taken and passed. Of course, this is something you would do throughout the year as those grades post and you do get your first transcript, but it's a great way to keep up with what you have taken and what you still have coming your sophomore, junior, and senior year. Let's talk about the 4x4 schedule. Now, you guys have already been running this 4x4 schedule for about a month now, so there's a lot that you already know. You already know that you are still scheduled for 8 classes this year. And you already know that you're sitting in 4 of them right now and that you have 4 of them coming up in January. And you've probably also already noticed that even though there's a little bit less to focus on because you've just got 4 classes and no rotations, the classes move quickly and a lot is covered every single day because the teacher's time with you is concentrated. They're seeing you every single day right now, but they're not going to get to see you again after December, and so they've got to cover everything quickly. Now, I want to go over a couple of terms that you might see in Skyward or that you might hear used, and I want to make sure that you understand them. And the first one is year 1 and year 2. In the past, we've called this time of the year like the first half of the year, and when we come back in January, we call that the second half of the year. But since you're completing classes in this first half of the year and you're going into brand new ones in January, the terms are going to be year 1 and year 2. So classes that you're taking right now, August through December, those are your year 1 classes. When you come back in January, you're going to be entering into your year 2 classes. All right. Then let's also talk about the semesters. So each 9 weeks is now a full semester. You have 4 full semesters that are going to be happening this school year. August to October is semester 1. October to December is semester 2. January to March is semester 3. And March to May is semester 4. At the end of every single semester, you get a grade posted to your transcript and your GPA recalculates. So that is going to happen every 9 weeks this school year. In semester 1, 2, 3, and 4, you will have grades posted to your transcript and your GPA will recalculate. Your GPA, or grade point average, is determined from the grades you make on your transcript. The only way to raise your GPA is to make better grades right now. Unless you have failed a required course, you cannot go back and retake a class for a higher grade. So how do you calculate your GPA? How do you figure out what is your grade point average? Well, right now you're sitting in classes and you are completing assignments. You're completing lots of daily work, handful of tests, some homework perhaps, and each one of those assignments is going into an average that will eventually become your semester grade. When that semester grade is posted to your transcript, it becomes part of the calculation of your GPA. Remember, I had said earlier, the highest GPA you can have is a 4.0. So looking here, every time you sit in a class and you earn an A, you're getting 4 points towards your GPA. B's are 3 points, C's are 2, D's are 1, and of course, if you fail the course, you would get 0 points towards your GPA. You're going to add the points that you have earned at the end of the semester and divide by the number of classes. So for example, if you get all A's in year 1, you would earn 16 points. 16 is then divided by 4 because you had 4 classes, and you would be left with a 4. That GPA is a 4.0. This is a basic example of how to calculate your GPA, but remember, Skyward does do this for you. So this is more of a planning tool to try to figure out what sort of grades you need to be earning to get the GPA that you desire. Making good grades is a very important part of high school. But remember, students, problems can be solved. And oftentimes when it comes to your grades, problems can be avoided altogether if you simply come to school and have good attendance and turn in your work. Now, you must pass each required credit to graduate. We went over those 23 required credits at the beginning of this PowerPoint. It doesn't matter if you have 30 credits. If you're missing one of the required classes, you haven't passed one of those required classes, then you cannot graduate. If you happen to be in a situation where you are failing a class right now, remember that there is no time better than today to start putting forth your effort and remedying any failing grades. At the end of S1, which will be October 3rd, if you are not passing a class that you have been sitting in, you will be assigned credit recovery. This credit recovery is going to come from your teacher. At the end of S2, which will be in December, if you are not passing the class, then you will need to retake the course. You have failed it. Most students who fail a required course in year one will be placed back in that course during year two. So this means that when you come back in January, you would lose one of your elective classes on your schedule, and you would go back into that class that you failed in this year one. If a student fails several courses, then they would be referred for summer school in addition to being placed back into the failed classes. So the best option for everyone is to put forth effort to pass the classes that you are sitting in right now. And remember, the only way to increase your GPA is to make better grades this year. Don't wait until your senior year. Try your very best starting right now. Grade point average goals. A 3.0 GPA is what we typically set as a baseline for students, because with that 3.0 GPA, you will be eligible for dual enrollment classes when you're a junior, and when you graduate from high school, you can receive the Hope Scholarship. However, there are many colleges that require higher than a 3.0 GPA, so research your college choices and set your own GPA goals. Are you interested in being a valedictorian or salutatorian? Would you like to graduate with honors or distinction, or maybe even work ethic distinction? Be sure to check out the website now to plan for those goals. You can find that information on the Smyrna High School website under the Counseling tab by clicking on Graduation Requirements. Even as a freshman, it is never too early to plan ahead and set some goals for yourself. Preparing now for college and career. Let's plan ahead for a successful launch into whichever one is in your future. Now that you are in high school, it is time to begin thinking about and exploring your options for the future. Do you want to go to college? Are you interested in tech school, the military, straight to a career? We encourage you to begin researching what are your options and what will it take for you to make those a reality. At the Smyrna High School website under the Counseling tab, we have a Career and Colleges page. We encourage you to start there and see what information you can find out that would help you planning your future. You will have the opportunity to earn college credit while you are here in high school. The majority of those opportunities are going to come your way junior and senior year, but now is the time to go ahead and start preparing. So college credit can be earned through taking dual enrollment classes and or taking AP courses. But remember, if you would like to take dual enrollment classes, you must maintain that 3.0 GPA. Another way to prepare for these courses is to choose some challenging classes next year as a sophomore so that you are preparing yourself for dual enrollment in AP as a junior and senior. As a final piece, let's talk about having a positive high school experience. What can we do socially and emotionally to promote a positive high school experience? We as counselors highly recommend students be involved. School involvement is such an integral part in having a positive high school experience. And yes, the academics are important. In fact, they're essential for graduating from high school. But we also want you to be involved and invested here. There are many clubs, activities, and sports that you can join. And we encourage you, listen to the Bulldog News. This is the time of the year where many clubs are having an interest meeting or taking new members for a period of time. Sports teams are often offering another tryout. There's activities and in-school events that are selling tickets that you can go participate in or watch. When you listen to the Bulldog News, you hear about all these opportunities, and you can plan ahead and pick something to join. A good goal is to pick at least one thing that you would like to try to be a part of in 2025-2026. Another way to have a positive social and emotional high school experience is by attending and keeping your attendance regular. Coming to school is required, not only for passing your classes, but also to be able to attend important milestone events. And students, when you are here, teachers can work with you. They can help you. When you miss school often, it makes it very difficult for teachers to give you the help that you need. It also often promotes students to feel a little bit anxious because they're aware that they're behind and they've missed things and they haven't made those same connections that their peers have made. So please make coming to school a priority for you. Attendance should be regular. We want you here every day. Good mental health is also an important part of having a positive social and emotional high school experience. Here in the counseling office, we want you to know that we support you and that we have resources available to help you if you need them. We would recommend looking at the website. We have a tab called Community Resources. Under that tab is a lot of helpful information that you could use or you could pass on to a friend in need. And then please remember, if you need help or you are struggling, make an appointment to talk to your counselor. We are here. We do want to help you. As a final note, let's talk about how to make an appointment. What if I do need to see my counselor and I want to talk about college and career or social and emotional or my academics? You're going to go to the SHS website. You're going to click on counseling and then you will choose appointments and signups. Once you click on appointments and signups, you will see a button that says make an appointment and you will choose your counselor based on your last name. The counselor will call you down when he or she is available to do so. We send passes for that. And if you receive a pass, please be sure to come to the counseling office during the same period that the counselor called you down. We'll be happy to meet with you once you make an appointment. And that is the conclusion of our presentation. Thank you, class of 2029, for your attention. We hope that you have the tools that you need to make your freshman year a great success. And we are looking forward to seeing the mark that you will make on the Bulldog community.